Whenever the voiceless voice sinks deep into the ear, the folds of the world become slightly distorted. The question remains a question, and without being answered, it simply spreads out as a glass trail. The touch of asking a question already contains an answer. Submerged in the question, we trace the shimmering boundary with our finger. The fingertip feels the embryo of the answer, but is not allowed to form it into a shape. The minute cracks that are drilled into the depths of the question, and the particles of light that fill the depths of the cracks, are already telling us a glimpse of the answer. However, it is not allowed to speak it out. At the moment of speaking, the answer escapes out of the question. The world is always made of almost words. While holding the unspoken in the margins, we still reflect ourselves in every word, and the way it reflects itself is distorted, warped, and keeps swinging in a fluctuating manner. This is why the eyes of those who ask must be sharpened. To pick up the fragments of meaning between the question and the answer, he sinks into the question, drifts there, and still sees through it. One always asks, in the space between someone's words, in the ambiguity of the outline of the future, or at the end of his own question, the gaze that never sees, the scale that never measures, and the blade of Toru doretsu lie in the abyss of consciousness that breathes silently. To ask is to tear. By tearing open the silence, tearing open the back of certainty, and tearing open the membrane of premonition, the world finally reveals its nakedness. After cutting our words, sharpening our thoughts, and continuing to ask in order to see the unseen, we stand at the end of our asking for the first time. The light of doretsu, with its still deeper shadows, invites us to another round of inquiry. Sometimes one stands with the appearance of a question, not a question, but an appearance filled with questions. It is not in order to seek an answer, but as a proof that we are alive to keep asking questions. Asking is an act of measuring a gap, a hand tracing the outline of a shadow. No response is expected from the outset. Rather, the question remains a question, and its permanence gives a strange sense of security. It is deeper than seeing, slipping through the depths of the eyes, and sinking to a place where words cannot catch up with it. You look into your own face, reflected in the water mirror, and dare to descend into its depths, faster than the ripples can be stilled. Inquiry desires doretsu, and doretsu dwells in the margins of inquiry. The hand that clutched the answer has already lost something. Then let's love being lost, drifting in the question. But his voice is terribly soft, as if he does not want an answer. Rather, it is as if he is quietly enjoying sinking into the ripples created by the echoes of the questions. The search for a clear image lies in drifting in the fluctuation just before the image is formed. The words that peel off, the logic that returns to nothing, the contours of the shadows that move toward the light. What lies at the end of the questioning may not be a penetrating insight, but rather a deepening blindness. The gesture of hiding oneself is an attempt to cast a craving without proof. The truth that should surely be standing behind someone's eyes or on the edge of someone's tongue escapes between the fingers, as if it were a light sliding on the surface of the water. Deep in the depths of our eyes, we must unwind the contours of the words and watch their serene collapse. The penetrating gaze quietly pierces through the thin film of questions. The world folds its contours in layers as it sinks into the depths, wavering as question marks dissipate like the wind. What is seen is what was seen, and what is seen falls into the shadow of the past that has already been seen. There is no static truth beyond the reach of the gaze. There is only a world that fluctuates, shifts, and changes. If we think we have seen something by asking, what we saw at that moment becomes false, and only what we cannot see is the pulsating heartbeat that blooms in the garden of secret colors. That is why we continue to ask, to sharpen our doretsu blade, and still search for the outline of the unseen.